back to Plugged In, 10 questions. This is Mr. J out here chilling, and we're getting ready for these sports to kick off. And so I got a special guest in the house today, VK Jones, legendary sportscaster slash editor slash producer, and whatever else you want to call him. Big opinions included. And so we're going to chop it up about not only music, but, the state of sports in this new pandemic situation and what the future might hold. What's up, my brother?
Hey, what's going on, Mr. J? How are you, man? Appreciate being on your show and everything. It's an honor and a privilege to be here.
Definitely. Hey, it's good to have you. You have a very busy schedule, so just to get a second of your time is a good thing. Look, we're gonna jump straight in. I'm gonna go straight in on you. You listened to our Plugged In project, the album, and so we've been getting all of the guys from way back, from like the day ones who've seen the evolution and growth of all the different artists we deal with, especially coming out of New Orleans. Man, what's your favorite track on the album right now?
Oh man, it's a tough question right there, man. I like all the tracks, man. All the tracks are real cool. I think the one with the Anita Baker beat is one of my favorites. It's really cool. Lot of good variety in the album, man. I think you and the Dialogue did a great job with the album and everything, putting the material together. And Coke did, Coke.
Yeah.
He did a great job, on the illustration on the album, adding his little 2 cents into it, and it was really nostalgic when you had Slangston Hughes and also Blaze on your album, and it was really cool, a little nostalgia right there with the Tiger Woods crew. And I know some good things. I'm hearing rumorville that there's some good things about to come out there. I ain't gonna say too much, but at the same time, it sounds like something's about to roll into it, man. So it sounds exciting to me, and it's great to hear that there's a potential Tiger Woods comeback.
Okay, well that's good, man. That dream rap song with the Anita Baker sample seems to be one of the crowd favorites, and so I don't know if we're gonna shoot a video or if we're gonna do some more things to build around that. But that seemed to be the song that's just rocking people's boat right now, and that's cool. Just because it's not a party song, unlike TGIF, which is the first single. That's not a party song either, but it's more up tempo, it's just fun. This song, the content is really, actually deep, and so I wasn't really going to do anything to it until the Dialogue forced my hand, and he got the dude Willie Hill on the track, and so they just basically talking about rappers faking in the game, lying on records, lying on video, acting in videos, and just not being their true self. And so, I felt that was really compelling, because even right now, you'll turn on the radio and some of the top 5 songs, they talking about shining and all this, but we in the recession, I mean, some of them getting their stimulus checks too, because they signed a real mediocre deal. And so, nobody really balling out here. And so, we're not trying to expose anybody, but just being real about it and just saying that, like, this is a show business, and you don't have to sell your soul, because 2 weeks later, they're going to probably forget about you. And so sustainability is everything. And, that's what it's about. And I think a lot of people gravitate towards that. I'm not going to say keeping it real, but we're just being honest, in these records. And that's the fun part. So when we talk about sustainability, and I know, your whole history with not only broadcasting, but your sports knowledge, because this is the sports edition. Man, what makes you go, far as setting goals and just moving from one level to another level? Because I think right now your current position, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm probably gonna be wrong, but you're not only the media specialist, I'm gonna call you the media mogul at a university. Is this correct?
Yeah, yes, I am. I was I was recently in a position at Calma Community College as a sports information director. Basically, I was the media liaison, meaning I actually not just wrote articles and press releases and stuff like that, and do hot, edit highlights, but also I was also the play-by-play guy, doing a lot of broadcasts and stuff like that. It was a whole lot of work, whole lot of work
Definitely.
into it and everything. It just, and I felt like this was a great opportunity for me and everything to expand my work and expand my experience, and especially working at a college. It's been a great time, and unfortunately, it kind of ended because of some real life situations that then came up in my life and in my family and stuff like that. 2020 has been something else, you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
And, I just feel that, 2020, I think we're going to finish strong. But at the same time, it's been a tough year. It's been a real tough year, not just in the world of sports, but in real life. We're dealing with a pandemic. We've dealt with, you know, African American black men still getting killed by the law, and we're protesting, and things are starting to try to change around here.
And women. We'll shout out the women because
Yeah, shout
I
out to the
think
women.
the women get forgotten a lot more than the guys. And so, like Brianna, her
Oh yeah,
family,
Breonna Taylor.
and yeah,
But
all of them.
what I meant to say is African Americans in general
Yeah,
still
yeah,
getting killed by the law, and even individuals getting killed by the law. So it is getting worse and worse. But I'm glad that people are out there protesting and everything. But with all that's going on, I had a lot of real life situations going on too. So it was just the fact that I was at a point that I don't know how to feel. I didn't know how to feel at all. But but I thank God for maintaining me and everything else. But changes are here. Changes are going because look in the state of Mississippi. They took down the state flag. So that's a
amen.
huge change right here.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And it's something else that happens before I have to get out of here. But regardless of the fact, I think what motivates me more than anything else is I want to be the agent of change, because there's not too many of us black folks in the media industry that has the position that I have. Not too many of them. And I'm trying to break into more broadcasting on a play-by-play side, in more of like college football, like college athletics in the big time stage, like Division 1 or 1AA, a smaller kind of college that looking for somebody to break through, break in, because there's too many people of Caucasian kind that has been having this position for a long time. And you don't see none of us doing radio for University of Alabama, for Miami. There's
right.
very few of us, and most of the people that's like us, they're calling games for HBCU schools,
And that's it.
and and that's it. I don't think there's nothing wrong with it, but I feel it's not enough. I feel our forefathers fought too hard for us to
Right.
have the rights to do anything. And I feel that there's a whole bunch of African Americans out there that are very talented and good as anybody else that can take that position. And like people like Gus Johnson is a huge, huge influence in my life, because he calls games and he calls the most exciting games in sports. And some people's like, well, you don't need to be too exciting and stuff. What are you talking about? I'm trying to get the crowd into the game. And that's what it's
Exactly.
all about. Getting the crowd in it, telling them a story. But not just that, when you get an exciting player, this, that, and the third, you want to see what happens. Like, wow, he's like amazing. Even when you're on the radio or streaming online through the video, and it's like when they see it, it's like, wow, and you're just into the game, and that's what it's all about.
Definitely. I'm glad you brought that up because, a lot of controversy is going on, especially in Division 1 college sports. And so, we got um, kids coming out of high school who are just looking at bypassing college altogether because they feel exploited. And so, at a lot of these D1 schools, you look on the field or you look on the court, and most of the players are black players. But like you said, there's not a lot of black people working in the positions that you mentioned, especially in media. And so, that's important. It's just like having a sufficient amount of instructors or professors on campus that represent the students that you're teaching. You know, Diversity is a good thing, and not just to put a tag on it and say, all right, we dropped a black person over here, and we're gonna drop a black person over there. But black, brown, yellow, red, mix it all in. Because like you said, everything is changing and has changed, and it's been different for a long time. And so, I'm excited that you're still carrying your flag and your torch to push those barriers, because that's important. And we have a lot, just like we got a lot of athletes that are talented. We got a lot of talented brothers and sisters in the media industry just trying to make their break, trying to climb from being a production assistant to a producer to, somebody who's really pushing the envelope and putting money behind projects. And so, man, so you kind of forced my hand. We talking about college. Let's get.
Right. And
How do you feel about the upcoming season? I'm gonna switch my hat. I got hats. It's sports day. I'm gonna switch my hat.
oh,
Take you
okay.
out a little
All
bit.
right. Cool.
I'm gonna rock the Purdue on
Awesome.
you. You know.
Purdue.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'll tell you about
Wow,
that in
man.
a few. I'll tell you about that in a few. It's a story. I don't
Right.
just rock hats to rock hats.
I think I might know what it is for a
Yeah,
second,
you
but I
might.
really think the college season. I don't know with like right now what I heard before I actually ended my tenure at Kahoma that NJCAA is going to get things going since the NCAA is going to get going. It's just tough times, and I really
It
think
is.
the fact of the matter is I think the government screwed up by opening the country too soon because of the fact of the
Bingo.
matter is we still we still don't have a solution, a cure to this thing, an antidote, something to try to control this chaos. And you're going to open up the country because of the economy? Really? Come
Really.
on, man. That messes some things up. And now you see the numbers keep growing and growing, and we ain't at the second wave yet.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what you was talking about, piggybacking to what you're talking about with the students not going into college, I don't really blame them. Some going into pros like an NBA, some going to go to pro leagues overseas and get that exposure, which is good. But in football and whatever, they're seeing that this is a multi-billion-dollar business, and it's been going on for a long time. And these athletes need to get paid, and these athletes are getting sick and tired of waiting. It's been progress made little by little, but now it's like they want the receipts. They
Now,
want the receipts.
I'm going to play devil's advocate for a hot second because I know and how much a college education at a Division One. We're gonna go with Division One. A Division One school actually
Mm-hmm.
costs, and not to mention private schools and stuff like that. So we're looking at in some cases, a cool 40,000 a year, to stay on campus and to get your classes full schedule. But as an athlete, there are a couple perks that come with that. And so you got people on this side who's saying, well, they shouldn't be upset because look at the money. It's 40,000 a year plus perks. We got some people who don't even make that in a year working on a job. So why are they upset? Okay. How do you feel about that? So let's say you've been in school for 4 years. What's do the math, man? What is that? $160,000 plus perks, a free ride. But we know they put in longer days with practice schedules and not being on campus for 3 days and stuff like that. So it's a really non-traditional lifestyle, and it's not like they can play ball and hold a job even if they wanted to, because that is the job. How do you feel about that to those people who say, well, that's your reward, that's your money, this scholarship?
I thought about that years and years ago, and I felt kind of that way, but things changed over the years when I was seeing athletes that I covered and certain people I knew personally how much they struggled even after all the the tuition and stuff. Like they ain't got no money in their pocket to not even go out anywhere or even go get a meal sometimes. Like the meal
Right.
plan is all cool, but some schools they might be fortunate you can get nutrition and all that, but some don't have that. Sometimes they want to go out like some other days they might not feel like eating cafeteria food. They want to go out and get something to eat or
Right.
go out, and sometimes they don't have that money. They don't have that means. They might not have no means to go get a new outfit or something like that. They are trying to economize of what they have, and it's just fact of the matter is that plain and simple, these advertisers and everything else, these money that these schools are bringing in, it's like these student athletes are being used so bad. Because the fact of the matter is, look how much you're using their likeness and everything else, especially with the college football video games and stuff, and even with the jersey
Jerseys.
sales and all the football autographs, all that stuff, and they don't get no kind of cut or anything else. Because I remember there was a guy at the University of Colorado years and years ago, and he was a U.S. skier as well, and he had advertisements and stuff because you know he was getting that money from the Olympics, getting the
Yeah.
advertising. But the NCAA shut him down and saying, "No, we can't take. You cannot take that money." And he left. And he's like, "You ain't gonna tell me and dictate to me that I can't get my own money to take care of myself. Who do you think you are?" And
Right.
that's why that's a multi-billion-dollar business, and athletes deserve a stipend, something extra,
Yeah.
so everything can be satisfied and all that stuff. And maybe the agents won't come there to it. Agents gonna be there anyway, but agents can come more to their junior senior year instead of coming in early as a freshman sophomore and dictating stuff or whatever. They're always gonna be there, but I think it'll be more satisfying if you pay these athletes. It'll be a little more of a better place. Things not gonna be perfect, but at the same time, it's a start.
Definitely. I mean, I feel like even if um the fall semester when football season's taking place, if they can give them some money, at least for those 4 or 5 months,
Right.
that is a start. That's something. Um,
Right.
and I
And then you
guess
gotta and then you gotta spread it around. You gotta spread that
yeah,
throughout athletics, even the females. You have to spread that thing around. Because you look, I understand the bigger schools gonna have the bigger money. Some of the smaller schools might not have that money, but they could get it
yeah,
because
yeah,
some people gonna be like some areas they'll be like, well, I don't know if we can go out the area, these rules, that rules. There are a lot of schools that break the rules and they don't get caught.
all the time.
So
Right.
it's just a fact that just don't get caught, handle your business. There's a way you can get money. There's a way you can get millions of freaking dollars through donors and people who work in advertising. Trust me on that. Like I said before,
Right.
you look at a great example. Look at Prairie View A&M. You look at Prairie View A&M from the early '90s, how they was. They wasn't awarding freaking scholarships. Now they're awarding scholarships, and they got a brand new stadium, and that campus looks unreal. And that's what happens when you have the right people in administration, and at the same time put the money where their mouth is, and trying to enhance the school to make it better to bring in not just the student athletes, but bring in more students to your campus.
Definitely. Definitely. I agree with that. I agree with that. I definitely think it probably has to be like a tiered program, as far as the bigger schools got this amount, and then it's just
Mm-hmm.
kind of go um, according to where you are, because let's just be honest. We know 5-star, athletes got the best shot at going to the next level, which means they're going to the
Mm-hmm.
schools where the coach is making over 10 mil a year. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of
That's
money.
another that's another factor too.
It's a lot
That's
of
another
money.
factor too. That's a lot of money. And I'm
Yeah,
not saying the coaches don't deserve that money. Some of them really have earned that money. But at the same time, that like if they're making more money than NFL coaches, that's unbelievable. So meaning is the fact that okay, if coaches getting paid that high, which I'm not knocking, but you got to make sure you take care of everybody else.
give them something. Get a kid something.
Right. I just love when head coaches sometimes put their money where their mouth is. Besides getting what they get, they make sure their assistant coaches are taken care of, and I
Right.
like that a lot because those assistants work as hard as the head coach to try to get them a very good program. But now you got to trickle down to the athletes.
Right.
And I'll tell you one thing, that'll cut down a lot on people being on probation. But the NCAA in general has been the most contradicting league or association for a long freaking time. And it's about time for them to just shut up and put up the money and do what you need to do to save college football. Because right now, college football is in trouble, but they're making some strides. But we're looking for but everybody else and the student, they're looking for the execution. They're looking for the finish.
Champions in Baton Rouge. Do you think they have a chance at doing it again, or is it a long shot? I'm going to just go ahead and put it out here. Nah, I'm and I only say that just because they got so many athletes that left. Whoever left early, they always have athletes who leave early, but a lot of them left, and so it's going to be a different team. And Saban, he coming back with that thunder.
And I agree with that. And my thing is like if anybody thinks that LSU is gonna go back to back national champions after what happened last year, you out your freaking mind. Because the thing is right now, you have to think overall. LSU has to replace 18 starters. 18 starters. That's the most starters we have seen for one team in college football in a long freaking time that you have to replace. And inexperience means a lot. So meaning you're gonna have to the younger players and even at the quarterback position because we don't know who's gonna be the starter. I wouldn't be surprised Miles Brennan is gonna be the man finally, but at the same time, I don't know if it's gonna be like Joe Burrow where he broke out, but Joe Burrow at least had a year time with LSU and it
He
got
got
him
beat up a
together.
year.
He got beat up a year, but then he got better at the end of the year and he took it to the next level, having probably one of the greatest seasons for any LSU quarterback in the history of not just in LSU but college football. Like, who throws for 60 touchdowns? Who throws for 60 touchdowns?
I can tell you who. I can tell you who. The
Who?
quarterback that got some rabbits on the end. Because I do feel a little partial. Like Burrow gets all of the props, but like man, the wide receivers were real doggish. All of them.
Oh
I mean,
yeah, them receivers
you know,
were dogs.
I mean,
But
he was
see,
just
but
throwing it up and they were just catching it. So, they got to give props, man. And I feel like man, they didn't get all the props they're supposed to get.
the receivers were awesome. The receivers were awesome, very awesome. They made a lot of great plays. But at the same time, Burrow was making those throws. And,
He was.
he made plays and made throws. To me, what made me convinced that Burrow really turned up and really got his game, like he really did turn up and got his game better, the game against Texas. When the game got tight and LSU was just up, I believe, 4 points, and he threw that pass on a rope right on the money, and it was a touchdown, game over. And I'm like, Burrow's starting to be that dude.
That was the first game
Like
of the season, right?
that was actually game two. The
Okay.
game was in Texas. It was game two,
So they played
and
in Texas.
yeah, played in Texas,
Yeah.
which LSU mostly dominated the game until Texas tried to make their comeback late in the third to the fourth. So, but Burrow makes plays, and but regardless of the fact, their whole offense was just unreal, and probably the best LSU offense I've ever seen. To me, the best LSU team I ever seen because it was amazing how everybody stepped up. But the scary part, the defense was up and down early, but later they got better. And when they got better, I'm like, this is about to be crazy. Because I'm
Yeah.
like, LSU, after they beat Bama, I was like, that's it. LSU might win this whole thing. Because I predicted LSU was going to lose one game and still go to the playoff. and that was against Bama, and they beat Bama. And
Mm.
I said, man,
Okay.
nobody beating them. But I
And I
really think they got to replace 18 starters for one. For two, this is going to be a big test for Ed Ogeron. I said it myself when he got hired. I said it myself. I'll give Ed Ogeron a chance than President Trump. I'd rather give him a chance than
come on,
anything else
man.
than President Trump. That's
That's
straight up. That's straight up. That's straight up. I can't stand Agent Orange in the freaking office. And plain and
well,
simple, when he got elected, I said, no way, no way, I'm supporting that. Period.
that's an
I'll give it.
unfair that's an
I'll
unfair
give
comparison. Ogeron is in his element. That other guy,
right,
that other guy doesn't know what's going on. Okay, so
right.
yeah,
But see, Orgeron had a lot to prove. That's why
yeah,
I was like, I'll give him a chance because I've seen some things in early Orgeron in his career, like, and especially early LSU. I'm like, I don't know, he should be the head coach. That was I was questioning that seriously.
huh?
But until that year, I said I'm gonna give him a shot. Let's see what he can do, and he did it. But this is gonna be his true test this year, replacing 18 starters and replacing one of the co-offensive coordinator Joe Brady. That's gonna be key because now he's in Carolina, but you bring in Scott Linehan, who is not that good of an offensive coordinator in the NFL. He was not that good, and to me that was a stupid move by LSU bringing him in. It might be different in college, but in the pros, he is proven to be very, very trash. So, so I will see, but it's gonna be really testing and all that stuff. And I know Steve Ensminger is gonna do what he can to try to help out and whatever. But this Linehan thing, I don't know. I'd
So
have brought in somebody else in there.
who's your pick? Because the last few championships basically came down to SEC and ACC. Clemson. I mean, what you think?
Clemson to me is Clemson off top is the favorite. They're
Yeah,
the favorite to win it all. They're bringing almost everybody back. They're in the same situation as LSU. Same situation. They're bringing in multiple starters back, a lot of experience. Trevor Lawrence is a complete beast, and I think he will be probably the number one pick in the NFL draft coming up next season. He can play ball. Some people keep saying about ACCs all week and stuff. Like, I get it. Yeah, it was weak, but last year, you see what happened at the end of the year. You see what he did against Ohio State. You see what he did against LSU, giving them the lead.
yeah.
If y'all thinking that y'all smoking on something. Y'all really smoking on something because Trevor Lawrence can play. I don't care what. All I'm gonna tell you, you ain't see Trevor Lawrence what he did to Bama. Shame on you.
Def-
Shame on you. Go back and see. Go back to what he did against Bama in the national championship game. Go back. He did a performance almost good, maybe a slight better than what Deshaun Watson did to Bama.
oh, he played the ball. He
Look at
played ball.
he played. I mean, he balled out, and I was like, and I thought, Dabo Sweeney. I really thought like I was questioning putting him in the other quarterback who was Kelly Bryant. I really questioned that
I
because I'm
question
like,
it
he's
too.
your experienced guy, but then all of a sudden later on, you see Lawrence was making plays and helping them win. I was like, okay, Dabo right now is looking like a genius.
Yeah,
So I'll give Dabo a pass a little bit on this one. But
okay,
Bryant later on turned out he was not that good of a quarterback than you thought
right.
because
I was surprised.
all he depended on more was his athleticism. Like his arm was straight. He wasn't that bad. Like when he started at Clemson, he did pretty good. You know, he made plays and everything. But it seemed like after he got hurt, his game just took a nosedive. Straight up took a nosedive. But I like Clemson is a big favorite. Ohio State, I wouldn't count them out. Looking at their schedule, probably the easiest schedule in college football.
Ohio State
And yeah, look at
easier
their
than
schedule.
Clemson's.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
okay.
yes. Look at a good friend of mine showed me the schedule, and I'm just nodding my head. I was like, but I think Clemson, but Clemson's schedule, I know Clemson probably got an SEC team
I
anyway in
think
the
that's
beginning. So
that's what helps Clemson though, because they don't
And
go
you got
through they don't go through all the hits that
and
the
you got
SEC
and
teams go through. So
right,
by
and
the time they,
you got to schedule tough. You got to schedule tough, especially in the conference that's kind of up and down in most of the basketball leagues. But there were some years in the ACC that they had big years. People don't remember the Florida State 2014 national championship that the ACC went 8-2 in bowls, and against the SEC there was 4-1. And then when Clemson won it with Deshaun Watson, that ACC 9-1 in bowls versus the ACC 5-1.
mm-hmm.
Come on, bro. Come on. It's not all that bad in the ACC, man. I know it. I know last year was really weak. It's probably one of the weakest ever. But at the same time, there've been a couple of years the ACC has jumped on some people, and it's like, what in the world going on?
Right.
And all I'm gonna tell you, one shocking, one ACC SEC win that shocked me the most one year, and that was Georgia Tech beat Mississippi State. And we talking about with Dak Prescott in his junior year, in a great year that they had, and Georgia Tech ran shot on these people. Like, what in the world happened? So
Right.
you can't always underestimate the small dog. It depends on, you know what I'm saying, how you come out. If you come out there, handle your business, don't underestimate them, you good. But if you underestimate a team and they come out there, punch you in the mouth,
Yes,
this
sir.
will be a dog fight all the game.
That's why I picked Purdue over Ohio State and Michigan. That's just how I feel, you know. Like,
Ooh,
I'm just saying,
what you know
it
about
can
Purdue, man?
it can happen, man. It's the Sparks brothers, baby. Like, you know, Jared Sparks, man. That's my little cousin, man. So, you know,
Oh, okay.
they try to convert him from the quarterback to a wideout, but you know he can still throw that ball. So yeah, I'll be watching him. And then his brother is a cornerback in Missouri. So that's why I was like, man, we got Kelly Bryant. Let's roll. Let's roll. And it didn't pan out last year. So
So
yeah,
that's why you wearing that Purdue hat. Because
yeah.
I thought you was thinking you've been a Purdue fan since Drew Brees days or
Nah,
something.
nah.
See, Purdue trying to get up, but you know, Purdue ain't been back up since the Joe Tiller days, and that was the greatest years maybe ever for Purdue football. Purdue football has never been that consistent until Joe Tiller got there. When
Right.
Joe Tiller got there, oh my God. Because I already knew that Purdue was going to be better with him as head coach. Because look what happened to Wyoming since he left. He was head coach in Wyoming, and he had a winning season every damn year, taking them to a bowl. And look at Wyoming now since Joe Tiller left.
Right.
And he went to Purdue, and he got Purdue up there consistent every year and got them to a freaking Rose Bowl. So, like I said, when Tiller retired, I'm like, I don't know if Purdue gonna get back up after this, man. You know, because certain programs are not as fortunate, like a Penn State, like a Wisconsin, that stays relevant even with the changes of head coaches.
Right.
Some programs, it goes down after one great one leaves. But you got to think, it took a while for Bama to get back up till Saban got there.
Oh yeah.
Remember,
They got lucky, man.
Oh yeah, I ain't gonna lie, because Gene Stallings did a great job for Alabama for a minute till he retired, and then they had to go to a revolving door head coaches until they got Saban.
Right.
So that it happens. It really, really happens in all aspects of college football. Look at Miami right now. It is,
yeah, it's rough.
it is bad. It's bad. It's bad. And I'm a
So,
Florida State fan, so it's
right.
bad down there.
It is.
And one time, and that's a school I strongly don't like or hate, but I do feel sorry for them because I always say to this day, and I talked to a couple of Miami fans before. I said I feel sorry for y'all for one reason only. The one thing they took away from y'all, and that's why you're not the program that you are. Y'all, they took away the Orange Bowl from you. When they took that away, dog, you ain't got no true home. You got to go play in the Dolphin Stadium and stuff. You
Right.
sharing a stadium, and besides that, like you might have straight crowds or whatever. But when you had that Orange Bowl, that was one of the toughest places to ever to play in college football.
It was.
Very, very tough. When I say you gotta have your mind right playing, you better have your mind right. You don't have your mind right, you will get smashed.
True that. Well, see, now you're talking about the pro stadiums versus the college home field. What's up
Right.
with Tulane, man? Since you want to take it there, they got the little cozy spot, off of Carrollton and Claiborne. It's cool. It's right there.
Yeah.
They coming up in the world.
I,
They
I like Yeoman, man.
yeah,
I
they
like
don't
Yeoman.
yeah, they
It's
don't play at the
cool.
dome anymore. So I like the feel. They got their own little flavor going. What you think about that?
It's cool, man. I've been there for a couple games, man. It's a good environment. You know what I'm saying? And I think Willie Fritz is doing a great job with the program. And I think as long as he be there, it's been a blessing for them that a bigger program ain't haven't took him yet. You know what I'm saying? So with him, as long as he be there, cause Tulane's gonna be consistent, and they really done outstanding with recruiting this year. So as long as they really stay steady and starting to win, I know Coach Fritz and Tulane trying to get to the point that they're trying to take to the next level, trying to win the conference championship. So that's the next thing that Tulane needs to do. And if they stay consistent, they're gonna be some good crowds each and every week. You know what I'm saying? Like, will they go back to the dome? No, I don't think so.
I
I
don't
think the
want
only
that.
time they'll go,
I didn't
the
like that.
only time, it was, I didn't like. The problem was at the time Tulane wasn't consistent, and Tulane just needed a place of their own that they can have a good environment for the fans to come out, the
Right.
students, and for players to come out and play. That a time that they just wasn't consistent. Now, when the Tommy Bowden days, when he was there and LSU and Tulane had a great undefeated season and stuff like that, and I went to the Tulane game on Thanksgiving when they played Louisiana Tech, and it was packed. It was like 60 freaking thousand for
Mm,
that game. And I couldn't even believe it for a Tulane game.
that's a
60
record.
freaking thousand. Yes. And I was like, it was crazy, bro. And Tulane wound up, it was a shootout, but Tulane wound up winning the game. It was very enjoyable, But I just know one thing. I'm like, if you're not a consistent winning program, I mean, the Dome is not gonna be a good place to just play ball unless you got Alabama or LSU or somebody coming in town, and you need to use the Superdome. Now when they renew things with LSU, sooner or later, if
Yeah,
they
and
play
what that's for
if
one
Tulane
game.
if Tulane, yeah,
That'll be
that's what one
special.
game. That's what I'm saying. For
Yeah,
one game, like if you play a Tulane, if Tulane plays a LSU or Texas or Alabama, you got to play at the Dome because people are gonna be coming to that game, and their stadium it's a good 35,000 at Yeoman. It's a good, nice little stadium. Like I could see if you play at Oklahoma State or something over Yeoman, that's fine. But you play like a big time top five, you got to bring that thing to the Dome
yeah,
because you expecting a big crowd. You just hoping Tulane fans be there, but you got some college teams that travel, and they travel good, and they love to come to New Orleans.
definitely.
They coming. They coming. So plain and simple Tulane fans, you gonna get called out. So you better come in there and try to bring in as much as the Bama fans, the LSU fans, and whoever else. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it goes. I went one time when they played ULL up at Yeoman, and it was really fun. They played Southern one time. I went. It was really
Yeah,
fun, regardless of the
Southern brought
score.
the nation out there.
Oh man, it was.
Yeah,
I seen about a good 15, 16,000 Jaguar Nation fans up in there, and the band just blowing things out and going, man. But I really like Yeoman, and I think Tulane Athletics has done a great and outstanding job. They're trying to get things turned around in all the programs, but I like Yeoman, and it's a very nice environment, especially for high school football.
yeah,
They've done a great job. They hosted the state championship between Rummel and Catholic High Baton Rouge. That was an unbelievable game. and that was great for Tulane hosting, but for hosting their championship, but also doing high school football from there. It's
Yeah, I
it's
like
much
that.
better it's better than the Shrine Airline, but the Shrine Airline wasn't that bad either to do high school games, and I hope they can bring that back too, because New Orleans, it in high school football is a big lack on facilities for all the teams to play because there's so many high schools in the city, and
Right.
especially so many high schools who have high school football. So that's because there's a lot of places they got to share facilities and all that stuff, but they need more facilities possible so teams can go and play.
Right. Okay. Well, look, I'm going to switch hats on you since we talking about domes
Okay,
and
come on.
I'm getting it. You know, yes, sir. I'm gonna come
Okay,
through
okay.
it like this. How you feel, man? This NFL thing. What's going on? There's a lot going on.
Well, there's a lot
New
going on
players,
because
COVID, Brady,
COVID.
Breeze. What's going on? What we gonna do?
Well, this fun, Drew Brees. Well, I'll tell you what I think about the Saints in a minute.
No,
Because I know
no,
one.
it's
Oh,
cool. But I want to know more about the Malcolm Jenkins um mind
oh,
frame because I think yeah, Breeze, that's done. But if we look into the future in the next 3 4 months, Jenkins got some made some good points. And so I know one of them he was just saying that, you know, um into the NFL, you guys are a little inhumane, kind of aligned with the president. You feel me? And so it's
mm.
just like economics over health. And he's like, yo, this game, it's a game. You playing with people's lives, and y'all want to bring fans, to the facilities too. What you think about this, man?
I absolutely love what Malcolm Jenkins said. Malcolm Jenkins has been in the trenches not
Yes.
just as an NFL player, but he's been an advocate for social justice for years now.
Yeah.
Even when he was in Philadelphia and stuff like that. I know he got mixed in with some things, even with Eric Reed. That was an unbelievable kind of thing. I couldn't even pick sides on that because either one of them was wrong, but even one of them was wrong. I gave a little edge on Eric Reed because I can see where he's coming from. Because the fact of the matter is, you have a right to call somebody out if something is not right for what somebody is doing. So I think Eric Reed was right on by calling out Malcolm Jenkins. But regardless of that, I give Jenkins credit because of the fact that he has been an advocate of social justice and he's seen what's going on right now in this world and everything. And I love what he said, especially with him being back in New Orleans. He knows what's going on, not just in New Orleans, but in the country. Then it's almost like this he's thinking in his mind, this whole situation right now is stupid. It's just the fact of the matter is why like we know we're dealing with a pandemic. We know we're dealing with people with their lives on the line and everything else. And it's almost like we need to think about safety first. And that's what Malcolm Jenkins is saying. Safety first. And he's like plain and simple, like, yeah, we want to have a season, but push come to shove, we ain't gotta have no season. We
Right
ain't
now,
gotta
right
have
now.
no season.
Yeah.
Not right now. We can just push it or just forget about the whole year and just get ready for 2020, 2021. I'm gonna say 2021, 2022 season because it's like there's too many factors. There's too many factors into this. And then on top of that, now we're waiting on a trial of these four officers in Minneapolis. And then we're still waiting on trial with Breonna Taylor and all this other stuff going on. And I heard somebody else was killed in Atlanta by an officer as well.
You talking about
So
The Wendy's situation?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's just so much going on here. And Malcolm Jenkins is looking at all factors. Now, the most important thing he said is safety, but also he's looking at the social justice thing, and he's like, police reform needs to happen. And I think we have seen some changes, and the changes going to have to do on levels. But sticking to
Yeah.
sports, like I said, I love what Jenkins said
With
yesterday.
do you think, and I'm going deep, the NFL They're just trying to put something out there to maybe divert people's attention from those social justice issues. Think about it. Because now they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna have games and we're gonna sing the Black National Anthem and all this. And oh, I'm sorry, Colin. I'm sorry. We didn't know. Come on, man. Like I really feel like, they want the season so bad because they feel like that's gonna be medicine for, it's not even a sickness, but medicine for, the problem. And I'm like, our problem is way bigger than football, way bigger than
Yeah.
football. And so I think that's another thing that, Malcolm Jenkins and a bunch of others are feeling. They're like, yo, you know, y'all just trying to throw something out there to make the people who, it doesn't affect directly feel good and say, oh, that's over, because that's what we've been doing.
They're trying to throw distractions. They're trying to throw a big distraction. That's
Yeah,
what it is. I give a little credit to Goodell. A little credit because he's finally recognizing what's going on. He's finally recognizing what the hell is going on. And it's the fact that, was his apology sincere to Colin Kaepernick? I say a little bit because looking at the look on his face, he felt really, really guilty and felt really bad. Because it's just the fact that looking at what's going on and the protests, but not just that, looking at what happened with George Floyd made him just, I'm not thinking made not just black folks, but also all folks across the country. You see protests from even Australia.
yeah,
People are like mad and tired because they realizing that this is not just a black man, this is a human freaking being being mistreated by law enforcement
right,
that's been getting away with too much for too long. And when this is gonna freaking stop?
right,
That's why laws have got to change right here. They got to change. Everything is changes is gonna it's gonna be by levels. It's gonna be by levels, and that's what it's gonna be. But I think Goodell, like I said, it's just gonna depend on the players. And I wouldn't be surprised the players might walk out, the players might do some other stuff, and might not have a season. I wouldn't even be surprised at that. You know what I'm saying? I think people are tired of Goodell, and they know Goodell is full of it on some aspects. So trust me, that's why players are kind of tired of it. But Goodell trying to bring things together because of the fact he sees the unity of what's going on, and then on top of it, he's get the reality starting to sink into him. Besides losing money, that the fact of the matter is that I think we probably just I think we just overreacted to the fact that why Colin Kaepernick took a knee in the national anthem and all that stuff, and all of a sudden it's now like, man, we need to unify because this ain't
right.
looking good right now.
Well, I mean, my thing too, it's not all on Goodell, because if you think back, he didn't get a trial with any team. Maybe one thought about it, and they pulled the offer off the table. And so what you telling me, you got 30 something teams who all felt the same way. Yeah, and so that's where the problem is, because those are the employers.
There you go.
You see what I'm saying? And
That's
so
it.
yeah, yeah, it's real. It's real, man. And I mean, hopefully, we can see some change. Um, I don't think, definitely it's not going to be an overnight situation, but I'm really concerned about these owners. Because I mean that's who really making the moves. And
Yeah, them owners is them owners totally full of it, bro.
yeah,
They're totally full of it. They're straight up. I'm really surprised that even Gail Benson ain't really rolled out the red carpet for Colin Kaepernick. And I'm kind of surprised at that a little bit because, and I'm not gonna totally call out Gail Benson because Gail Benson, she has done unbelievable for that New Orleans community in itself since she stepped in as an owner, and she's making strides to not just not make things for the Saints better, but make things for the Pelicans better too. So, I'm not gonna totally call her out, but I'm kind of surprised that she didn't pull the trigger and be like, look, Tyler, we'll bring you in for a trial. We'll see if we can give you a chance, have you a spot on the team. We'll see what we can do. So I'm a little surprised with her.
Well,
But everybody else, like you said, and I agree, it takes upon the owners to do that, and I'm just surprised none of them didn't pull the trigger. Not even Gail Benson, and not even with the owners and general manager of the Seattle Seahawks.
right. I
Knowing
mean,
knowing knowing the environment and the players that they brought in,
yeah,
like
yeah. It take a lot of heart though, and
mhm,
because I mean, you got these owners, and I think they're just looking at money. They're like, man, if we bring Colin in, a great majority of our um, white fans are not going to come. The season ticket holders, they're not going to renew, and so they're not willing to have a stadium that might be 40% empty. You know, and I don't. I mean, yeah, I don't think it's them not caring about the issue, but they're not willing to sacrifice for the issue. They're not really
right,
sacrifice $1 for the issue, and so
right.
yeah, it's real wild. It's disheartening, but that's the reality.
I'm gonna make a bold prediction here. I'm gonna make a bold I might be wrong on it, but I'm gonna make a bold prediction.
Okay.
Like, I would not be surprised that this happened. I think the San Francisco 49ers is gonna have some kind of a change of heart and gonna wind up signing Kaepernick. And Kaepernick, I don't think is gonna have it in him to play anymore. So I think Kaepernick probably will sign with them, be there for a year, and retire.
Mm,
And it's just gonna be a statement saying that I've been patiently waiting. I've been right here fighting this out, and now the team that just released me and whatever, but now they want to make a man sign back and whatever and retire me as a 49. I'll be like, thank you. And at the same time, it's a big statement that, you know, I fought my way through this and everything else. I don't have the passion to play no more, but I fought all the way to get back into this league.
yeah.
So I think the 49ers, some way, somehow, is going to have a change of heart and
Close the
going to wind
circle,
up signing him. Yeah,
man.
full
I
circle.
tell you, that's a really interesting trajectory
And then
because
on top of that,
the way he came in
then
the
on
league, the way he came in the
exactly,
league, he had to
and then
he basically took somebody's spot. And so they was like, nah, we don't know about him.
right,
Everybody was like, we don't know about him. Then they go to the Super Bowl. And so, I mean,
right.
he came from
He's
the
done
back.
so
And,
right.
and
He
so
he
his
done
best
so
years, he
right.
didn't get all what he deserved. That's the
Not
that's
at
the part
all.
that kills me.
And they screwed him too. And I blame some of that. I blame some of that on Harbaugh. I blame some of that on Harbaugh because they changed the freaking offense on that man. Because I think that offensive coordinator who was there before that helped Kaepernick get him to play that he want to play like at freaking Nevada. And all of a sudden, I think he left, and all of a sudden they didn't stick to the offense that helped Kaepernick, and they changed it up to a regular offense, and you see what happened to him. So it's a system that screwed Kaepernick. That's why his numbers went down. You know what I'm saying? Just like that. And proof is in the pudding. You know where that offensive coordinator for San Francisco is at now?
Not the Ravens, is he?
Yes. Why you think Lamar Jackson is going off?
Exactly.
John Harbaugh knew what was up, especially what his brother did with Colin. And he knew what kind of athlete he had in Lamar Jackson.
Exactly.
So, and guess what? He gonna do, and guess what? John Harbaugh's not gonna be stupid. He gonna do what he can to keep that coordinator on, and knowing he wants to keep him for a long time and Lamar Jackson. Because what Lamar Jackson is doing is ridiculous. He is right now to me. He is Colin Kaepernick 3.0,
Right.
not 2.0, 3.0. The way he plays, it's ridiculous. It ain't just fact he's fast, quick, make this boy can throw the god doggone ball. And he was throwing the ball at Louisville because and that was amazing how these scouts was talking about he lacking and throwing the football. Did you see his last year at Louisville, how he elevated his passing game? I'm like, I always say to this day, I always say, some scouts know what they're talking about, and some scouts need to shut the you know what up because they don't know what the hell they talking about, and they ain't watching the whole freaking game.
Definitely. I agree with that one. I agree with that one.
Yeah. So
So
I think it's gonna be full circle for, and I wouldn't be surprised first game in the season when Kaepernick's there, the whole San Francisco 49ers team go underneath for the national anthem.
hmm. So
And
I mean,
it's gonna be like how you like that slap nuts? How you like that?
wow, bruh. So man, it's heavy when you start talking about the NFL and all that has occurred over the last at least the last 5 years. It's really heavy. Like I really think, and so I keep going back to Jenkins, but it's a bunch of guys in the league who they've stepped up. Do you think it's a point where because they're mid career where they feel like they got enough leverage where they can, say how they feel and be honest about, what's going on inside and outside of the system versus
Well,
a rookie or a second year player who, because I think if we look at it, the first to third year players, they get jerked. They if you're great, you get exploited, and then you're just in there trying to get to your next deal, which is supposed to be the big one. And so a lot of times I feel like those guys are kind of voiceless. But the 7, 8 year players, they out here. They like, man, it's whatever. You're gonna have to cut me, and I ain't getting cut. So what's up?
hmm. Well, and a lot of times they got to play the game how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Some players have to play the game how it goes. And sometimes when you come, it's like when you're working for a company or you're going in some kind of industry. Sometimes in your first year, there's some things you might not like what you see, besides you liking what you're seeing and all that stuff. But sometimes you got to keep your mouth shut. Sometimes you have to observe and everything else, especially as a black person, especially going in any industry. We have to observe. It's hard for we sometimes it's hard to bite our tongue sometimes, but sometimes we have to bite the bullet. Now, if we're in there for a year, year and a half, we established ourselves, we see what the system is. It's like Tupac said, it's like playing the game. You know what I'm saying? When you know the rules and aspects of the game, you can maneuver this thing. You can do what you have to do. You can plan strategy and all that stuff to do what you need to do to make it through or to find another job or make another move, something like that.
Yeah.
You have to observe and look at what's going on here, why this is a problem, why that is there, but not just that. You got to establish yourself first before you really have a voice. But then when you do that, that's when you stand up and stuff like that. But when you're trying to get established into it, it's a learning curve. You have to learn. It's hard. It's hard. I'm saying that because we're black folks in the industry. I'm a black man in this media industry. I've been in the media industry for 15 years, and I had to be a sponge and learn. I had to take a lot of heat. But after that, oh, I dished it right back because I'm like I knew what was going on, but there was some things that I did wrong. And some people you gotta have tough skin. You gotta take it. But sometimes when something is wrong and you are wrong, take it because it's on you.
Right.
But you can even admit it. I'll take the L. That's on me. But then after, even when they say sometimes it's your fault. But there might be moments that you have to take heat and it's not your fault. And that's when you're gonna have to take it out on them because it's almost like, wait a minute now, wait a minute, we got to talk this out because I ain't got nothing to do with that or
Right.
whatever. But sometimes we might have to swallow our pride and be like, you know what, I'm trying to make progress here. I'm gonna go on. Sometimes you have moments like that when you be like, man, I have to shut up because I'm gonna have to go ahead and do my job.
Yeah.
And sometimes we have moments like that. We have moments like that. Like I said, it's some people like, why you don't like? No, dude, we're black in this industry.
Well, let me ask you
White
this.
white folks. I don't want to say this. I'm gonna say this right quick. Other ethnicities like that's Latino, China, they're probably going through almost similar as us a bit with how we try to work in the industry. But see those Caucasians, even if they're rookies, they'll freaking have a voice and get away with so much, and it's been going on too long.
Right. So I guess the bigger question is this: aside from sports, and we're just talking about etiquette and office etiquette and business and how we're going to maneuver. I agree with what you said. When you're coming into a situation or a company and you're fairly new, you have to be a sponge. But like you said, you got some other guys who from day one they're opinionated. They're going to be themselves unapologetically. When is this going to stop? Because I feel like that's where the unfairness comes in at. Like you having to, you know, not hide but suppress, you know, some of your ethnicities or lighten up some of your blackness. Like when does that stop? When do we get to just, you know, be our honest selves within the organization? Because I mean, it's been too long. It's been too long. I think that's what the young kids are alluding to when they out here, protesting, and that's why it's still going because I think they see it. They see it really clearly, and they're like, we're not feeling that. Do you think
Mm.
that that whole outlook is going to change like fairly soon? Because I think it is.
I think it is too. I think it is too, and it does start. It ain't just starting with the young folks. The young folks is just piggybacking on our generation because a lot of us are tired of it, and we're at the point that we are just putting our not just we're sick and tired of putting our hands up. We're basically putting the birds up right now, and I'm saying it in a clean way a little bit. But if y'all know what I'm talking about out there in hip hop land and everything else, and people know me, you putting the people putting the birds up and say forget all this because we're tired. We're tired of keeping the peace. It's almost like we're family. Some people in your family get a little ignorant and whatever, but you want to just chill and stuff when the holidays come and you want to keep the peace. But sometimes you get to a point in your life you tired of keeping the peace. And all I know, I'm gonna have my peace. Just like it out, like with Andre 3000 Outcast,
Trying to get a
like
piece of
you don't
mind.
have a peace of mind. You'll have a peace of mind. So I'm gonna have my peace. So plain and simple, like we get sick and tired of it. And you know, if we're gonna have peace, not just at holiday, we need to have peace all the time. And I feel like they need to have solidarity. They need to be unity all around. That's what Martin Luther King wanted. Not just the fact the rights of civil rights and everything. He wanted rights and love and unity for all. All. Black, white, Chinese, Spanish, Latino, everyone. That's what Martin Luther King wanted. And if you go into a company, it should be unified by everybody. And you should have the freedom to express yourself in any type of way. I don't care if the CEO is white. And I experienced that before at a company where the general manager was Caucasian, or probably one of the realest CEOs I've ever met,
Right.
who went all out and helped people inside and out. And I respected that man. But then all of a sudden there was a person that replaced him, and that freaking changed. And the hurting part about it, he was black.
Mm.
And like I said, this thing comes with levels. And when all this comes down, the next biggest thing is if we need to come together in solidarity and be unified and let everybody express themselves the way they want to. But besides all that, we need to hold people accountable.
Yeah.
Even our own black people. We need to be hold people accountable. Because there have been too many politicians, people in offices, people in certain departments that is bringing places down, including schools, including companies. I think people got the right to call them out and say, if you ain't doing what you got to do, get out.
Yep.
Get out. We bring in somebody else that's going to run it right. Because I'd be damned if somebody coming here, and I'll be damned if I see somebody like at one of my former schools or something like that, bring a school down that I work for or a school that I had pride for, and then all of a sudden you gonna do some stupidness like that. I call your butt out. I'm like, you need to be out of there. Cause like
Yep.
you ain't doing a good job. And I don't care what you say. Like somebody used to tell me, and somebody famous that I know that I'm cool with, and supposed me to say, nah, you can't really say fire that person because you don't know that people need that job. And I understand where you came from, but the other side of it,
But when you
I'm
take one of
like,
those positions, you have to understand the responsibility of your situation, and especially if you're in charge of other people's lives and livelihood. And so, if you're not doing a good job as the leader of the operation, you got to go, especially if it's public money.
bingo, bingo,
You know?
bingo. I felt more than anything. I feel where he was coming from. But on the other side of it, and I explained it to him like this: there's some people there's some people that come to their jobs and know how to do their job good, but there's some that don't know how to do it, but don't have the patience to learn, or some just be having their nerves bad, don't want to be here and stuff. Plain and simple, you don't want to be here, you don't have the patience, go, get out of here. We don't need you. I don't care about like people who have two jobs. I don't give a damn. If you don't do your job, if you can't do what you can do,
Right.
go. Get
Right.
out. Find something else to do. I'm not gonna knock anybody from taking their job. But if you can't do their job and you messing me up, and at the same time I'm doing my business, I ain't gonna lie, I'm not perfect, and I mess some things up. But there's some things that was not in my control and not even my fault. But people gonna screw me up and screw my time or whatever, man, bruh, they're
Yeah.
the dope.
Right. Right. We could talk. We could talk about that all day. It's going down.
Exactly.
People getting
Yeah.
called out.
There's something about us when we have power, we freaking turn into something else. And that's not good. Instead of humbling ourselves, doing what's right, doing our jobs, doing the best I can, that's the best that we can to just not just to help the school, help the community, but to enhance, to
Yeah.
maintain, to give other people opportunities, to lead kids, to lead people to success, not bring them down. If you're somebody that's ahead of a school system, my thing is this: if you see something wrong or a problem, go ahead and change it. You got a right to change it. But if you see something that's working, leave it alone. Don't touch it. Don't freaking touch it. Leave it alone. If it's working, if that teacher know what he's doing and is successful in that classroom, or that coach know what he's doing, they win it. And then on top of that, the students making the grades. Don't change the damn thing. Leave it there. Don't worry about your people. Or I'm gonna bring in my people. I done seen that too long in schools everywhere. And to me, that is other BS. Politics will lead you to the freaking now. See, instead of just using common sense and doing what you need to do, this politicking thing going in your head, like, hey, I'm gonna put my people in. Politics leads you to the depths of hell. That's what politics leads you to, the depths of hell.
So I guess I need to just stay where I'm at. I need to stay where I'm at and don't throw my hat in that don't throw my hat in that school board opening. Huh? I'm cool. Man, I'm not doing it. I don't have enough money.
No. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm not gonna stop you from doing what you want to do, because I feel like you one of the people that can be the agents of change and can change a lot of systems Because there's always certain people that are in the community and special people that's been working outside of the system or inside a little bit that want to work for the board and be like, look, I want to be the agent of change. And you can see the actions that they're doing up front and the groundwork, and they feel like I could do a better job than that person. And at the same time, I could be the person to be like, look, we need this, that, and the third. No, we need to get away from these people. We need to go this route because right now, look at the numbers here. Because a lot of people like yourself, and there's some other people that I'm starting to know in New Orleans that are part of the school system or outside. They got their ducks in a row. They ain't just coming like with their heads, and they coming with ideas. They coming with ammo. They coming with everything they have. And I'm like, these people need to get a chance. You need to have a chance because you could be the agent of change, the real agent of change, especially where your community is.
Right.
You know, like I said, be an agent of change. Like there's some people, by God's grace, if it's in you, go do it. Because you know you can change a lot of stuff, man. I want everybody to be successful. I want everybody to win. That I don't want to be better than anybody. Well, I want to be the best that I can. But God has blessed me so much that man, look, I just want to be the best that I can. I want to be the best person that I can by God's grace and everything. But at the same time, I want everybody to win, man. I love to try to give back to my people. I love to give back to that's why I have certain platforms that I have. That I bring people like you on and people like some people I know in the industry like Johnny Marquise, big shout out to him, Bawani Jones or Jamel Hill or some of these folks like kept on stage or whatever. I want to put a platform, not just to put my shine on, most importantly, but at the same time, I want to put the people that are unknown on this thing to get they shine in, man. Because like I've met people in the industry that really has went all out and has been so much of mentors to me. It's not even funny. But there's some that just straight up trash to me and some I don't respect. And it's like, you know what? I'm not trying to be like that. I don't want to be like that. And you shouldn't be like that. Because it ain't just the fact that you're in the industry, you're black. You're black. All your people trying to get where you need to be. You're black, dog. We've been far way behind. This systemic racism been going on for too long. You want to do what you can to bring the people up front.